Welcome out, gamers and gamettes, to this RGL.GG Invite Sixes match. We are nearing the end of the regular season here in Season 18, and we've got a great match of GlobalClan going up against Fjord Gaming tonight with a lot of LAN playoff implications on the line here. I am Alto, joined by TC mounted on my side, Dolphin behind the camera as always. TC, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I agree 100%. This is a very important game. Hopefully should be a really good game with a lot of implications because both of these teams are kind of the bubble invite playoffs teams. You know, GlobalClan, they're trying to make their way into LAN. Same thing for Fjord. These teams, they played against each other earlier in the season, and it was Fjord Gaming that were able to walk away with the victory, get themselves just a little bit closer to making those LAN playoffs. Of course, GlobalClan, they've come back with a different roster, an improved roster. Some people would probably say, of course, you're going to have Shamu on Pocket Scout instead of Perfection, and then Dingo on Demo instead of Kira. So both of those players have attended a lot of LANs and have a lot of high invite experience. Otherwise, the team is basically the same. You got Sora on Flank Scout, Quacks and Taz as the soldiers, and Dank on Medic. But I think we've seen with this new roster, they've looked a lot better. They are obviously able to take a win against Jiminy, who have now reformed as Legacy, which is a kind of an upset win. Has kind of helped them equalize the scores as we kind of head into tonight's match, which they're coming up against Fjord. Once again, this is essentially kind of a must-win if you are GlobalClan, if you want to try and make LAN. If you don't win this tonight, you're really just waiting on Fjord Gaming to basically lose a match they shouldn't.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll admit, I'm not as familiar, it's much easier in the Highlander side of things because everyone plays their matches simultaneously. I'm looking, so is Fjord the kind of favorite to make it in at this point over GlobalClan, or are we looking just with the, because they're even right now. I think the Fjord's maybe next match is coming up against... Yeah, Fjord still has a game against Legacy. It looks like 2 games against Legacy they need to play, and I think those are also going to be very meaningful, so likely probably get those on cast at some point, I would imagine. But needless to say, it's hard to tell exactly who the favorite is in terms of making it in, but whoever wins tonight, probably going to potentially be favored here, pulling a win over, your direct competition for that spot.
Yeah, basically kind of a situation is GlobalClan, if they win tonight, and then they kind of win the matches you expect them to win and lose the matches you expect them to lose, they should have an overall better win-loss record than Fjord Gaming. If Fjord Gaming win this match, they will basically be even with GlobalClan if, both these teams kind of win the matches they should and lose the matches they should. But the thing is, in that kind of a tie scenario, it would favor Fjord Gaming because they would have won both matches against, like you said, their direct competition. So I think they would have been able to get the in to playoffs. So it's really all to play for. Either of these teams could be able to make it. But as I think we're getting ready to go live, I'm going to press you for some predictions, Alto, as everything on the line. This could define playoffs. Who do you think is going to take the win tonight?
I think I hear already up, and I think I gotta lean towards GlobalClan. I got to cast their match on Snakewater last week. Was it last week? Maybe 2 weeks ago against Froyo, and I thought they had some really, really strong flashes there, where they were just straight up outplaying Froyo at certain points. Kind of story of what we've seen against GlobalClan, I think, in their match last week against Mama's Boys 2 is really, really great moments of brilliance, kind of followed by a little bit of floundering. But I don't think Fjord is the caliber of team that Froyo and Mama's Boys are to punish them quite as hard for those drop-offs. But I'm thinking we're going to see a great one here tonight regardless.
Hopefully we will see one, as immediately Taz is already in the enemy team's lower, kind of wrapping around. Alexandros has spotted them, and we have a soldier 1v1 on second as the mid is going to continue. Otherwise, Alexandros is going to win that one. I think GlobalClan are just going to back up with immediately losing their soldier. They don't lose anyone else, so they should be able to stabilize on second. That's going to be a good opening for Fjord Gaming, as they're already taking so much space over in Saw. Quack's going to be able to get on the pineapple, and I think that's going to be the call for everyone else on Fjord to back up some kind of very important soldier traits to start us off, Alto, but I think things might slow down here.
Yep, and you know, my limited sixes experience having casted the Global Clan Mama's Boys games, Taz not a stranger to instantly blowing up on a mid fight and costing it for his team. You know, high risk, high reward type of playstyle. We see that right there. You know, Alex winning that 1v1 in the backside. So both teams now sitting on Uber, waiting for, you know, someone to make a move right here. Gonna have to see no sacks yet, so no off classes, really nothing but just kind of probing each other out right now.
Yep, as Alexander's, oh my god, oh, and the ball, it gets Dingo. Taz, oh, that's so unfortunate. Dingo just took so much damage from the bomb from Alexandros, and then the ball just finishes him off, and that's going to be the opening. No stickies on any of these doorways, but Quacks is in behind with Sword. They're going to be wrapping around as everyone else on Fjord Gaming takes so much space over and lower. Alexandros so far back, just trying to see where those players are as Quacks, it comes in, tries to pounce on all those Fjord Gaming players over and lower. Isn't going to be able to hit the damage, but Soar is in the backlines, finds one in the deadly seed. Alexandros does clean him up, but they have lost 2 on each team, and I think that's just going to be a call for Fjord Gaming just to reset. It was getting chaotic, but now they can try and push
full ad,
in.
Though Dank ended up using there. Not sure if it was a force or trying to save someone, but Shamu going in will get the force onto Dinko, but he and Taz lose their lives for it. So now slight ad back in favor of Tank, but the second cap gonna go up in favor of Fjord Gaming. Coming out really strong here. Really heads up by Dinko during that extended fight before, kiting forwards away from the flankers to make sure he's able to keep that Uber. Dank, meanwhile, using means that this ad is basically free, and they're able to now post up outside of last.
They're going to be able to set up on last. They do a very slim Uber advantage, and if it were any other team, I'd say they're just going to sit, but because this is a Shamu team, because this is a Dang team, there's always an option. There's always a possibility that they take it, and you can see Shamu getting antsy over in lobby. They want to try and take this. Shamu is going to walk forward, kind of clear the stickies, and does get rocketed down. Oh, Quacks with an amazing air shot, but Alexander is on the Tank, is going to force out the Uber. They are going to have to use. He gets it just in the nick of time. They are going to try and commit, but Quacks gets cleaned up, and that's going to be the call for GlobalClan to back up, and it's going to be an excellent scenario for Fjord Gaming. They've got 100%. They got all their players. This should be an easy last for them.
Yep, moving in, jumps coming out, all of the GlobalClan forced back into spawn right now. Kills starting to come across onto Soar as they're all now both on opposite sides of the last. I think we're going to start up the cap here, forcing Quacks to jump in on it. Now jump coming in from Pineapple. Gonna get some good damage onto Quacks. We see a crossbow kill from Dank, helping out on the frags as Dinko goes down to Taz. Frags though, it's just Dank and Taz up right now for GlobalClan. One of them's gonna fall and the next going down to Necro. And that will be the first round coming out in favor of Fjord.
Yeah, there's a reason why you don't see too many teams try and push out with that slim amount of Uber advantage. Even push out at all. There are plenty of teams who would take a full Uber advantage scenario and just decide to stay on last. GlobalClan is not one of those teams, and you know, the high risk, you know, high reward scenarios not working out for them. At least at the start, they've got a lot of TF2 to play, so hopefully they'll be able to get something going their way as we go in onto the next mid. This time, Taz not going to go for the flank shelf, is instead just going to be playing, and now bombs in. Tries, gets a lot of damage in onto Dinko, is going to be able to find the kill. Does get air shot out of the sky. Great stuff from Pineapple, but the trades just going GlobalClan's way. Alexandros is in behind. It's going to get cleaned up as they keep Dank alive. Pineapple bombing forward onto Dingo's head. Not going to find the kill as Deadly Seed runs forward in a 1v1 with Soar. Not going to win that one, and that's going to be a much better mid for GlobalClan.
Yeah, the controlled Taz, I think, is a much bigger threat here. Waiting for them to get in, coming in, getting a great, I think, just kind of headshot rocket onto Dinko. No opportunity to serve. I think he even took an air shot along the way, but just doesn't matter. Quack's coming in a little bit after, able to follow up on the rest of the damage he's able to do, and a really clean mid for GlobalClan. Gonna snowball this right into second, and full ad looking into last.
Yep, gonna be full ad. They're just gonna be making their way into lobby. Shamu just kind of clearing everything, making sure there's no cheeky, sticky traps that are gonna dead on his medic and kind of nullify this great advantage that they have at the moment. Posted up towards Shutter, and they are gonna use in. Kind of gets launched by the sentry kind of lot. Dingo going airborne for the moment, but they do clean it up, but they don't have any cap time, and they don't have any kills. So now it's going to be the call from GlobalClan. Do we go for the point? Do we try and maybe get onto Dinko and get ourselves a lot more Uber advantage as Necro is going to go down? That's going to be the first pick. Shamu rushing forward with Soar as well, but the scouts trying to see if they can find any kills whatsoever. They're not finding anything. They're just losing players. Dingo is probably going to be caught out here in a little bit of a demo 1v1 with Yosh. Actually hits 1-5, might be able to hit the other. Someone help this demo. Finally, Yosh cleans him up himself, but that buys time for Dank to escape, and push failed for GlobalClan.
Yeah, it feels like everyone on Fjord knew that Uber was coming. They were playing super passive to the extent that the kind of shutter pop coming out of GlobalClan felt a little bit early. You know, you really only had the gun on that side of last. Everyone's able to kite back in through spawn, and now suddenly you're looking at a 6v6, you know, with no Uber and no real advantages. So of course the team with a heavy that doesn't have to push in is going to win that in the long run, as now Ubers are evened up with the rest of Red. Looking to get in here. Onto mid, Ubers pop through.
Oh my god, Pineapple, nice rocket on the Quacks Skyborn, as yeah, both Ubers are gonna happen. Looking a lot better for GlobalClan. Shamu just trying to chase Alexandros, finds one of the sword. They are gonna go in through window, and you can see everyone on Fjord Gaming is backing up. Necro just furiously trying to build to give his team a little bit more defenses and maybe an Uber to help stem the tide of all of these GlobalClan players. They want to bust through. They are going to do so, taking so much space as possible. Shamu just kind of leading the charge, but Dingo's very weak. That's gonna be Shamu going down, and it's going to be a lot trickier for them to stay in here, especially with Taz as well bombing forward, not finding anything. They did capture up second, so that is going to be a little bit more defenses to stop Fjord Gaming from getting a lot of space here, but with the player advantage, they're still going to try and go for it.
But ooh, Deadly C coming in from lower there. A little bit of a jump scare on to Dingo. They're just chasing the rest of GlobalClan out though. Fjord gonna be able to capitalize on those kills, come and recap up second. Dingo now sitting on Uber. Dank just about to have. Spam being created back and forth from Yard. Bit of a bait bomb coming out of Quacks. Now waddling through lower, but Shamu gonna be the first kill. Uber popped out from Dank. Dingo's still able to milk with no pressure on him. This could look like a full ad, and yeah, Dank popped so early, just gonna be forced back. Quacks in the back line, looking to maybe come in, will snipe that kill onto Pineapple and actually start calling them back with that pressure, but that full Uber ad's just still gonna be so threatening they can't commit.
Yeah, they cannot commit. They are going to have to back up. Deadly Seed might get caught out here and is going to go down. So now there's only 3 people in this Uber for Fjord Gaming. Dingo is up above, just waiting for an arrow. Is not going to get it. The pistol from Necro gets that kill, but Quacks in behind gets so much damage. Huge bomb coming in from Quacks just at the right place in the right time. Alexandros is in, but just going to get shot up against the wall. Yosh is hiding over towards Catwalk. Is going to get scattergunned down by Shamu as everyone else on GlobalClan rush forward. They somehow managed to turn that around, a large part due because of Quacks with that flank play, and now they're going to be the ones with full Uber.
Yep, I don't think he ever died after coming in from behind, you know, right after the Uber out of Dank and sniping out Pineapple. Probably just managed to lurk the entire time. Comes in, pinches clean up, but Deadly Seed on the sniper. Gonna find Dingo right away on the walk-in, so despite the full ad in favor of GlobalClan, this push is going to be delayed. Only 30% on Dingo means that you will have your spawn ahead of time. So not fully enough to even out that Ubers, but enough to at least let Necro get a few more levels onto this sentry gun.
Yep, there's some classes that maybe you can try and take in without demo, not one of them, but they are still going to try and do something before Dingo is really there. They get in, they don't take down the sentry gun, they don't get any picks, and that's really why you don't push out without a demo. Is he's so important for that initial burst of damage and speed and being able to cross distances so quickly. Now it's going to be Fjord Gaming's opportunity to try and push out. Last time it didn't work out too well for GlobalClan, but now Fjord Gaming have a lot bigger Uber advantage. They're going to be able to get in through lower. They're getting a lot of space for free, and everyone at GlobalClan just going to have to back up. The bomb comes in onto Dingo. Nicer from him to dodge a lot of damage, but is eventually going to have to pop Soar. Wins for 1v1 versus Deadly Seed over in Kitchen. Just going to have to back up. Is going to be able to get out, and that's going to give GlobalClan advantage to try and push back in when they get their spawners.
The Uber leapfrog in full effect right now, so long as these meds don't die. Looking to see some back and forth gaming right here, as just all posted up right here. Dank just about to come up. Dingo building to try and close that gap. means just that the execution has to be that much better on the side of GlobalClan, but they're already pushing it to Saw right now. They're going to try to get aggressive. I'm not sure if they want to commit through there, maybe drop out of window to rotate into Yard, but bomb coming in from Quacks up towards Cheese, gets some great damage. Alex taken out immediately. Quacks not even going to suffer a trade there, and they're just blowing them out with this full Uber head. They're not even going to have to use.
Yeah, they're not going to have to use. Now they're going to try and finally use over in onto last, but it's about enough time for GlobalClan to get their own Uber. Quacks is going to go down. Can they find anyone else? Dingo very, very weak, just waddling his way out of lobby, just waiting for a boat, just having to dodge for the damage and a stand on the barrel. So that was an Uber gotten in the nick of time for Fjord Gaming. Dingo just getting that at the right time. So now they're going to be able to slow things down. It's basically going to be even Ubers, and it's going to be Fjord Gaming on their last, getting all their defenses set. They've got an engineer up. It's going to be Deadly Seed as they try and weather the storm of GlobalClan, who are going to look for some way to try and push in. And I think we've seen what that way is, Alto. It's going to be Soar on Sniper.
Yep, off class coming up right here. Just the kind of straight Ubers out of Shutter not working for them, so finally moving on to that off class. Darwin's Danger Shield, interesting choice there, without the Pyro as a secondary. I mean, even the SMG, a little bit of marginal value, but probably not going to end up mattering. He has been seen, missed a couple shots in both that left side and in lower, but just going to keep rotating that around, trying to find something that Shutter and that upper angle means it's possible to just surprise someone, and he's slowly waddling into upper with that charge.
Yeah, just gonna try and go for the slow peek. They might know about his presence. Now they definitely do, as Alexandros bombs him. Is not able to get the kill. Fortunately, him for that lapse rocket, as he barely jumps away out to safety. Quacks wanted that kill himself. As now it's still going to be Soar up on Sniper towards Shutter. It's going to open it, trying to see if he can maybe get the shot onto Dinko. Sometimes this medic plays over towards the stairs, and if you're not careful, a Sniper can just slow peek and catch you while you're standing still. Luckily, Dinko kind of playing more on the ground towards the sentry gun, so not at risk of that Shutter peek, but maybe at risk of some other type of damage. GlobalClan gonna have to try and figure out some way to get in onto that medic as they're pressuring over towards the left side, but they lose Soar. They almost lose for Demo as well. Dingo taking a lot of damage over in lobby as everyone on Fjord Gaming kind of walking in. Oh, Yosh just piping the world. It's gonna be an even trade. Actually, no, a little bit better for Fjord Gaming, 3-2. And with that, they're gonna be able to push out.
Yep, Quack's in right now, but on alone with Dank, Taz in deep. Yeah, gonna get collapsed in on there. Thought there might have been a backhand angle, but enough to Quacks is gonna get that Uber force out from Dinko. So despite all of that, we're gonna kind of go back to this same, looking like a leapfrog scenario with the ad on Dank on mid right now, but not quite backs against the wall for Fjord Gaming as they're able to successfully push out. And just, you're not too upset about losing the Sniper there, but Fjord really just smelled blood in the water, able to just keep pushing those kills out. I mean, unfortunate that Dinko got forced there, because otherwise you're looking at a much better situation for them.
No, yeah, you definitely are. It was really great stuff from the soldiers to be able to get that force out. Now GlobalClan, because of that, are going to be able to walk in, but Alexandros goes for a bomb onto Dank. Nice surf from Dank to stay alive. Alexandros not able to find the mark or the air shot there, so they're going to be able to take second. They still have Uber, but they're kind of in that exact same position as we saw last time. They get second for free, but it's about enough time for Fjord Gaming to get their own Uber. Do GlobalClan still try and go with its thinking, its advantage? They are going to take a lot of space on the left side. The soldiers bombing in high, Quacks landing in deep on the truck. Not going to find anything there, but Necro is probably going to fall. No, he manages to double jump and keep himself alive as it's going to lose 3 on GlobalClan. Taz tries to go for an air shot, not going to find it. And once again, GlobalClan having to back out after a bad last push.
Yeah, just not able to really kind of find the sauce to push in there. It feels like, maybe it's an off class, maybe it's just the, type of positioning. I like that they changed it up, tried to get some ground in on their own left side before, really committing to anything. But Soar on the Spy almost got bumped by Deadly Seed out in Yard. He did get bumped, and they smell him out. They know there is a Spy lurking. They're going to spam him out right here. But I think he's kind of stuck on it right now. Going to have to go in eventually, trying to get back in through Saw. All eyes right now gonna be on the Spy.
Yep, really unfortunate for Soar that he got bumped there, but hopefully GlobalClan can pressure a little bit to allow Soar some type of easier way in. Might not be able to get the medic, but even a demo kill or any kill really would be helpful for his team as they're pressuring Quacks. Is going to go for a fadeaway bomb, not going to commit. Taz tries to go in, kind of meets Pineapple up in the sky as Soar does manage to find his way in behind, but that pick on the Pineapple, and maybe Soar gets another onto Deli, gets two! Oh my god, that's going to be huge, and now they're going to have to run away, and now this is the opportunity that Fjord did not want to see, that GlobalClan desperately wanted, as they are going to even be able to get the Uber Force out as well. Now GlobalClan, they're sitting pretty, they've got full advantage, sure they've got a spy, but this Uber should make up for it.
Soar suffering success from success, doesn't even die there. Just stuck on spy into this last push. Uber popped out on the shutter side. They're able to pick up one onto Necro. Soar now cloaking in, going for the deep cloak. Might have another one. Nope, gonna get spotted out, but they're not turning. Finally gets another stab onto Alex in the same life. Red Train J coming out onto Dinko, making a peak shooter kill onto the med, and Soar Spy gonna carry GlobalClan 2 around here. I think that's 4 kills, no deaths on the Spy.
I think you might be right. Soar went absolutely huge on the Spy, which is even more impressive considering they knew about him before the very first kill. So Soar managing to find magic when there may have been none there. So that's going to be a good round for GlobalClan, but it's still going to be 1-1 even game as we're kind of already more than halfway through before continuous overtime. The mids have been pretty explosive either way, as seems like no soldier gonna go for anything right off the bat, just gonna play it a little bit slower than they have previously. It's really been the GlobalClan soldiers initiating either Taz or maybe Quacks. As I say that, Taz gonna be bombing in, doing a bit of damage onto Dinko, but Dinko, nice surf to be able to stay around, but the rocket doesn't connect from Quacks, and that's gonna be a live medic for Fjord Gaming and 2 dead soldiers for GlobalClan. They're gonna have to back up, and now with no real projectiles outside of Dinko, it's gonna be very hard to hold on to 2.
Yeah, Dinko just fancy feet to the max right there, ducking and dodging against both soldiers, able to basically matador them that entire aggression. They end up killing themselves. Uber now gonna get forced out from Dank. Counter coming back in from Dinko, quickly running that back in onto Necro. Shamu gonna pick up a kill on Alex over towards Saw, and Taz in a bit of an odd position, but not anywhere he's gonna be able to get collapsed in on. Now jumping into mid, great air shot from Pineapple, gonna take him down. And now pushing up into mid is GlobalClan. Blood in the water. Dinko hit up low. Quacks getting in deep. Not gonna find that. No, will get that last rocket onto him right as he goes down. Long range WTF in the chat. Don't think he expected to get 2 on that one, but he'll take it. GlobalClan, looked like they were failing off the mid, but all they needed was just one more fight on second, and now that's going to be Alex chased back into last. Shamu hot on his heels with the pistol, not going to find him as the cap for second now coming in favor for GlobalClan.
GlobalClan somehow just in a perfect opportunity to try and take a second round for them. But Deadly Seed is up on Sniper, and last time he was able to get a very crucial headshot onto Dingo that really stuffed the push. I mean, they still took it in without him, but we saw how well that worked out. Now they're going to be able to get in through lower. No demo to start off this push, but no, Dingo dives to the sentry gun. He didn't get flashed at all, so basically the same thing. They take it in, and they don't find anything with it. Soar gonna meet one of his soldiers over on right side. Pineapple just trying to get some spam damage, and Dingo just not having a lot of luck, really, you could say, on these last pushes, because really the first time wasn't his fault. That time he should have gotten flashes. Soar rushes around, does find Necro over by Cheese, is gonna fall as well, so does get traded out, but Quacks is just in, he gets on the Dinko. So, there were so many players in that man's way. How do you let him get onto your medic? That's insane from Quacks, and now let's once again put GlobalClan in a perfect opportunity to try and get another round.
Yep, just Alex right now desperately trying to stall the point, will not be able to. All that pressure from Cheese, I just don't think they kept expecting the bodies to keep pouring in from there. And yeah, it's gonna find that kill onto Dinko, a little bit of a lapse in concentration, all that it takes to get pushed back. We've seen both of these teams be very aggressive when it comes to pushing out of last, and both of them have kind of been burned by it so far.
Yeah, they definitely have just a little bit, and pushing into last as well, but we go in onto another mid. Let's see if the soldiers start to get aggressive right off the bat here.
Yep, I think Taz may have learned his lesson after that first mid. He's been much more reserved waiting for his moment to go in instead of exploding instantly. Again, a little bit of a slow mid so far. No jumps yet, but Soar starting to get aggressive. Sees that they have much better positioning just overall onto the point. Starting to gradually push that forward. Alex, though, going to be the first one to jump in. Popped up and gets out. But the health advantage now in favor of GlobalClan. Cracks jumping forward, hitting Deadly Seed up low as well. Dingo starting up the cap time, going to force things to a head as Quack gets the first kill onto Alex. Soar now rushing forward. Everyone getting forced back into Saw on Fjord.
Yeah, that was just a really nice air shot from Quacks onto Deadly Seed, and it's, like you said, only going to be Necro and Dinko, the last two left alive, just trying to make their way out over to spawn. They have been able to reach it, so that is going to be an uber preserved for Fjord Gaming to use, but for them, they just have to wait for all their spawners before they can really take some space over on last. Yosh is going to be the last one up, and now going to try and get some stickies up, locked, and loaded to try and see if they can maybe get some type of pick to help them push out. But GlobalClan, they've already got presence over and lower. Alexandra's actually going to go for the bomb and get some rockets onto Tank. Finds one. Tank holds onto it somehow. The amazing milk and surf from that man to not use there. I mean, a little bit of beef from Alexandros. I think he had like 3 rockets that he could have landed on him, but still, even with the 2 rockets that he did land Alto, I'm surprised Dank didn't use there.
My soul was ready for him to drop Uber from fall damage, but happened to surf out onto the logs as they're now walking in. Quacks and Yo's going to be an early exchange, but the Uber popped way earlier from Dinko, so much better on the side of Dank, and they have the inside track to the point. Taz jumping in. Soldier's going to start jumping up. Dinko going to be the frag, not too much meaning though with his Uber gone, but the frag's now onto Pineapple as well, and Shamu not going to be able to win the fight against both scouts. It's going to be Dingo and Dank now forced out. He's not able to convert those kills. Great job from Fjord to continue the stalling there, just giving them enough time to gradually chip people down.
Yep, really great stuff from Fjord for being able to hold on to their last point when it seemed like GlobalClan had a really great opportunity to just flood in, but they are not out of the woods just quite yet. Dinko is going to be at around about 30% Uber disadvantage, so, you know, they might be able to get it in time if they're able to slow GlobalClan down enough, but it's going to be very, very risky in a kind of dire scenarios. It seems like GlobalClan in position to try and take this Uber.
Yep, they're going to go in from Shutter again, get the gun instantly this time, but not likely going to see any frags come across him, and so it just buys them the entry. Taz now going to get pressured out on this left side. Shamu, first one to go down to those quickies. Soar going to be trading onto Alex, but Deadly Seed's heavy, standing tall on the truck right here, walking in. They get a lot of cap time, but not nearly enough kills. It's going to be Dank and Dingo once again as the only 2 survivors backing out. And Yosh on the trail of Dank. Don't think he's going to be able to keep up the chase as Dank and Dingo meet back up. But that's actually going to be the full ad in favor of Dinko as they recap second here and couldn't even get pressure into mid.
Yeah, just really great stuff from Fjord Gaming. Dinko with that 100%, but there is a soldier over in Cheese. It is Taz getting some good damage onto the Fjord Gaming players. Yosh taking a lot. It's just going to have to back up. They're kind of stuck on their last. Once again, GlobalClan managing to put out a lot of pressure, even though, you know, they already had Uber on Fjord Gaming, and I think now they're in the position where, yeah, they could push out, but there's a little bit of cap time on last. GlobalClan are in position to try and go for some type of back cap if they do push out. I think they're just going to have to stay on last and go for the round reset.
Yeah, it really felt like Fjord was kind of lacking that killer instinct to just grab the space and move out while they had the opportunity. You know, maybe a few too many people dead, a few too many people damaged. So ultimately it ends up with another exchange here, looking to come into last. Gun is up, and I mean, they've struggled with the gun, but Taz now coming in. Soar getting levitated by the gun. Taz gonna go down. They do get the kill onto Yosh. Soar will go down though, and I mean, you see there's one thing that's a really easy way to get a gun without an Uber, and it's a spy.
That is true. We might see some type of, maybe some more spy shenanigans, because I mean, it worked pretty good for Sword, but with that being said, there is only a minute left before round reset, because no one was able to capture either point when that kind of whole push-out shenanigans from Fjord Gaming were happening. So it is going to be a little bit down to the wire for GlobalClan. Only 40 seconds left before we go to the round reset, so they can maybe try and go for one more sack, and if not that, they're gonna have to commit to a just kind of a even Uber push, yeah.
And it's actually beginning Necro now coming up onto Sniper, looking to hold the long angle. Uber popped in from lower really early though, gonna buy them the space, but Dinko still sitting on full. Now gonna pop out in exchange. Sword trying to milk and just dance that as long as possible, but will go down shortly. Frags in favor enough for Fjord that I think we're just really going to look at the round reset coming in.
Yep, probably going to be the round reset unless Fjord Gaming try and make it to the point, which they definitely can. They have enough time to do so, but they might be thinking it's not going to be big enough Uber advantage to make it worth it. I don't know if we'd be able to get all the way to mid with Uber advantage, what we had, so they're just going to send it back to a mid fight and hope that they can have a little bit better of a showing, because even though the first one went their way, the past couple seem to have been GlobalClan, kind of GlobalClan favored.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, they've really, after, you know, that first mid, they've kind of figured out the sauce. It feels like only Dinko's Insane Jukes really able to pull it over for Fjord in that last one. See if anyone changes it up with a fast bomb. So we're going to get a little bit of pressure up top, but not really anything resembling a commit. Pineapple jumps straight up. Again, they're not going in, but that is Alex going in, gets the rocket up to Dingo, but will go down for it. Pineapple comes in, finishes up, but Frags in favor of GlobalClan. It's going to have to be likely the retreat sound of Taz coming in, gets Yosh with his last rocket, and Soar finds Necro. Dinko as well going down. So back out a little bit delayed from Fjord, and it's going to end up with them getting wiped.
Yep, it is going to end up with them getting wiped, unfortunately for them, and now they are in a worse position than they would have been if they had pushed out. But, you know, it's hard to know that for sure. You know, you want to bet on your team just being good at mid, so that's what they did. Didn't work out, but it's not all over yet. We've got less than 4 minutes before we go into continuous overtime, so they don't have to be too worried about that at the moment, but they do have to be worried about this GlobalClan Uber coming in. Deadly Seed is up on Sniper, trying to see if he can hit miracle shots once again and just kind of stall this Uber out as Pineapple is lurking in lower.
Just hoping to maybe gank someone that comes down there, just looking to scout out some information. Feels like they're just waiting for the perfect Uber. They're going to take it in through their own left side. It's going to be Dingo getting dropped, though, again to the gun. Shamu finds the gun with the scatter gun, but that's going to be it. I think I heard a headshot ring out, but no kill. Necro,
oh my god,
Justice gets a kill onto Soar. Alex gonna be taking the kill onto Taz. I'm pretty sure that's an air shot right there. Didn't get to see it directly, but Taz making a note in chat. And Quacks just coming in from the cold. Think he had a wall bug or just up top. Drops in onto Dinko. Really heads up play from Quacks. FPS players never look up. What can we say?
I mean, you know, it's true. It's a stereotype for a reason, and Quack's abusing that to his advantage. I will say the thing between, it was Alexandros on Fjord Gaming. It wasn't an air shot, it was an air melee, and he sent, I think it was Taz cratering to his death. So really kind of cool from Alexandros there, but even cooler from Quacks to be able to get that onto Dinko, and it's given his team a great opportunity to try and take another round this time. Hopefully they don't drop Dingo, which they've kind of been doing with a kind of a startling consistency as Dingo goes sky high once again. This time he gets flashed before he craters through the ground, so that's going to be good. They do take down the Central Gun. They haven't gotten any kills, but they delete the heavy of Necrom. They just stand on the point and make it a 3-1 game.
Yep, and that's going to be likely the last round we see before the continuous overtime comes in. And it feels like they finally kind of found the sauce there. They don't drop their demo, they get the gun. They were able to bait that heavy in a little bit to focus him down. And then it felt like all of Fjord not able to really react, and the cap just comes across without really too many frags being exchanged. 1 minute left until continuous OT as we come into another mid-fight.
Do this time. It seems like Taz is trying to do what he did on the first, but no, he is going to double back. He's still lurking in the enemy team's kitchen. Actually meets Deadly Seed head on and gets bodied by Alexandros as Quacks is in super deep, gets some damage onto Dinko. Actually takes down two. Oh my god, Quacks is unstoppable right now. Is going to fall to Pineapple, so not exactly unstoppable, but you know what I mean. He's doing so much work for his team at the moment. Dank is being able to be kept alive with the help of Dingo and Shamu, who are just kind of protecting him over in their side. They're going to slowly try and take a little bit of space here. They might have to give up the cap, but Shamu is getting antsy here. They got some respawners. The bomb comes in from Alexandros, gets a little bit of damage onto Dank, not enough to find the force or the kill. I think with that, that's going to be the call for Fjord Gaming to back out. Yosh might be caught over and lower, is going to die, and that's going to be a very late demo death.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just, despite the med kill, too many people going in for it, as it did initially go over to Fjord, but with the full Uber, they're just able to bully them out. Take mid, gonna roll that into second. Dinko now at 70, building for his life, trying to make sure they have to get that as soon as possible. Think they know they have a big ad, though, on the side of TC. They're walking in before seconds even cap. Everyone forced back into the spawn. And everyone now out on the other side. Uber's popped out. Dinko has in time, though, they're able to use. So an even exchange going back across. No kills yet on the board. It's been a big old wet noodle fight. Taz gonna make it out with that escape plan. And not a frag on the board.
Yeah, they decided that they were going to go pacifist mode for this fight and, give peace a chance. As great as that is to see, we want blood, and Sori's going to give us that by dying to maybe try and go as an off-class. As here comes the sack from Taz. Not going to really find anything either, so they are going to be down to Dingo. However, finding the kill onto Yosh, that is going to stuff any ideas of pushing out or trying to go for a counter sack that even Fjord might have entertained. Yes! But we do have a spy on the field. He heard your calls. Actually, no, JK, he's coming up on Sniper.
Unlucky.
He's a, he had too much success on spy last time. He wants to try something.
Very likely my Highlander brain, but they're having so much trouble with this gun that spy just seems like the most natural option. I just want to see another pea shooter kill onto a med. But nope, it will be the sniper right here for Sor. He's holding the long angle on the logs, looking into lobby. Misses the shot onto Yosh right there. Likely would have heard that ring out. They should be aware, because there's a sniper on the board, no longer peeking that angle. So see what they can do with it now that he's lost the element of surprise. But Necro also on the sniper, he will connect, getting the kill onto Taz in lower, and now that's suddenly a 65 with this sniper. So a lot of pressure on Sword to, dome someone walking into the lobby.
Yep, he's kind of looking over on Bats, gets the headshot onto Necro. So he did exactly what you wanted him to. Great stuff there. As now he might be able to try and go for a little bit of a wider peek. There's a soldier over and drop down. Might be able to get him, but no, he's going to be posted up. Looking over towards Shorter, wants the glory kill onto the medic, but once again, Dinko smartly kind of staying a little bit lower than it. As you can be just by the sentry gun, but Quacks takes down Alexandros, is going to get traded out. Dinko falls around a half hit points and might be able to be taken down with a bit more spam damage, but no one's really in position to do it. Both soldiers were already committed and have already fallen, so there's no one to really bomb in. So Fjord Gaming going to be able to hold on for just a little bit longer, as we've got a minute 30 on the clock before a potential round reset.
Imagine how much better that sack is if the gun's sapped and you got a revolver coming in onto Dinko. Probably gets a drop. All I'm saying. Nah. Are we paused? We are paused.
Ooh. Okay. Well, at the bare minimum, we know that GlobalClan don't win in the next 90 seconds. Because otherwise they would be pausing after the game has already completed, which wouldn't make that much sense. So we know we've got at least 90 more seconds of TF2 on our hands, probably a bit more if it is a pause. But I think, we had a kind of a minute 30 left before, right around when the pause happened on the round timer. My guess would maybe be that a GlobalClan, they failed this push, or it just kind of stalemates out. And then we go to another mid, and this might be Fjord Gaming kind of sitting down and being like, all right, we're going to another mid. We've had a few opportunities at this. What's going wrong? Because, their first mid was good, but you could argue that was good because Taz kind of messed up. Not that Fjord Gaming did anything super spectacular. And, if they want to try and come back and win this, they really need to work on their mids.
Absolutely, yeah. Dolphin, have you heard anything on the reason for the pause here? Unknown we're getting. So, yep, really all we know is that 90 seconds, maybe could just be a tech, right? And we're looking too much into it, but we'll have to see. I mean, I swear I'm not trying to shill this because of the Highlander. They have had so much trouble with this gun on last. Every time it feels like they have to blow their entire Uber just getting the gun and getting a little bit of positioning into last with no frags, no meaningful damage, right? No, panic on the defense. They use it at a shutter, they get the gun. Maybe they drop Dingo, just, as a bonus for Fjord, right? And then they end up just kind of in a stare down across left. So like something's got to change, right?
No, I 100% agree. And even not necessarily getting the picks is okay, but they've also not really been playing the point either. The one round that they did win, not this past one, but the one before that, they were able to take down the center gun. They didn't drop Dingo, and they still didn't get really that many kills with the Uber. I think maybe they got one, but what really gave it to them is while everyone on Fjord Gamer were just kind of sitting by the truck, they just stood on the point, which they really haven't been doing too much on GlobalClan. There's kind of been a lack of point pressure to just kind of bait the soldiers in to get those easy kills, because otherwise they can just stand and spawn. As we are going to go live here, and we are going to have to see why this pause happened, and whether it's because GlobalClan beefed the push and we go to another mid, or maybe if it's a coast to coast from Fjord Gaming.
Yep, look to see what goes on. Soar looking to come into upper, trying to get an angle, but Pineapple waiting. He jumps over the rocket, actually. Before running in, I think he just knew, Sniper was losing its usefulness. But Taz getting caught as well, likely not in the calculations. Yosh going to survive on just a sliver of health. They're going to be forced to give up lobby control right now. See if Fjord is, manly enough to push out with their backs against the wall here.
Yep, I don't think they are going to. They still got a sentry gun up as Deadly Siege just repositions it in a sneakier place. Quacks over and lower, and I think they are just going to stay on their last, which, is the conservative thing to do, but it makes sense considering, this is a very important match for them. Could decide if they're going to be able to make it in on the playoffs, as now we have GlobalClan pushing in. They do a lot of damage onto Pineapple. They should be able to get the kill onto him over on the left-hand side, but they don't make it to the point in time. That's the stalemate. I think that is also where the pause happened. Probably attack pause from either team. If you're GlobalClan, it's how do we push this last? If you're Fjord Gaming, it's how do we win mid?
Exactly, yeah. It looks like it was being the pause coming out of Fjord. I think they've got a little bit, more pressure on them here, needing those 3 rounds in a row, really, if they want to keep their land hopes. Not that they'll be dead without this, but they'll definitely take a big hit. They may lose control of their own destiny as they now come into the mid here. No fast bombs again, although Taz looking maybe might try to find an opportunity.
Might be able to find some type of opportunity. Actually, no, it's Dank with the opening kill on the Pineapple, and Quack's just bombing forward with Taz doing so much damage. They're not going to lose anyone else, which is going to be very good, but they all are so very weak. Look at Dinko. He's just at a sliver of hit points, having to back up there immediately. If they stay in, like, even a second longer, I think that could have been like a 4K for them, as we are going to have to see what they decide to do on GlobalClan to now break this mid to second stalemate.
Yep, exactly. As now, just looking to see if anyone gets caught out a little bit too aggressive, perhaps. As no one's really looking.
You got your wish.
Looking to be the guy, yeah. The spy now coming back up for Soar. Gonna cloak in. We saw it on second before as well. I mean, it made it into last, but only because he never died. Not gonna get bumped by some erratic scout movement out in yard either. So, just observing. As spies are ought to do, waiting for his opportunity to strike.
Yep, and it's going to be on GlobalClan to once again cause a bit of a distraction. If you don't do anything with the spy, people are going to get antsy and kind of notice there's a lack of movement, but Quacks is going to bomb forward as he tries to decloak. Dinko is just going to use throughout all the chaos, so mission is successful. Quacks is going to have to give up his life, so it was a 2-man. That's not too bad. If you are GlobalClan, you can still hold onto mid, even better with Taz getting that pick onto Deadly Sea, but so much space already for Fjord Gaming. Alexandros making a lot of it, just having to barely stay alive. Same thing for Pineapple, backing up over into Saw. They wanted to try and get the Uber out from Dank ideally, but they're going to take a lot of space on mid and force GlobalClan to use this Uber a lot earlier than they maybe would have wanted to.
Yep, although the Crack coming forward now, they're going to have to give up the cap time regardless in here of that Uber. So, then continuing to milk this. Alex, though, looking way back at spawn, trying to get us the spawn camp in onto Taz. Gets penciled, though. Air shot, gonna miss, but Taz losing the 1v1. No, Alex misses the rocket. Will end up winning it in the end, though. Bit of a messy fight, but Alex still stuck a little bit too far behind as the cap's coming in, and they're getting pressure into lobby right here. Gonna get that area for free. Alex still in the back line. They know that they're up one frag, really, so just trying to get the cap. Yoshin Necro gonna get in on the frag. The Uber's popped out on to Dinko, so Ad now back in favor of Dank. Alex looks like got caught out in the back line in the meantime, so no more deep cover operators, but slight ad in favor of the blue team.
That's going to be a very slight ad for GlobalClan, and if you are GlobalClan, I think you take this. It's a slight ad, but why not go for it? You're up 3-1, and you just need one more round, one more successful push. Not that they have really been their strong suit, but hey, every chance is some good practice and another opportunity to try and close out the game. As they're going to be making their way over towards Shutter. They use the Uber. They bomb in Dingo to once again take down the sentry gun. Quacks helps along the way. They do get it. They don't really play the point immediately. Once again, now finally Shmu stands on it. He does get dead, but that's going to be a big bomb coming in from Quacks, and he takes down Dingo, and now they just have to keep Dank alive. Ideally, someone else to help him build, but no, they are going to lose everyone. Dank should be able to get out through Saw. This is going to be a very, very slight Uber advantage for GlobalClan. I think it should be enough for them to take it, but the question is how much ground are they going to lose in the meantime?
Yeah, Quack's getting that kill is huge. Dingo at 98, which just stings so bad if you're able to get that off. This is a much cleaner second cap. You're likely getting pressure into mid, whereas now you're looking at not a big Uber disad, but definitely a pushable one if you're quick on it. And the building now coming out of Shemu and Dank as well, likely going to help make that even bigger. But Dinko doing a good job building, keeps it under 20%, so very likely to be something they can really push off of.
It could be something to push off of, but they are going to have to be very, very quick with it. Alexandros is... Oh no, the headshot from Deadly Seed immediately nullifies it. Huge stuff from Deadly Seed once again being the salvaging player for his team. But Taz is in, wants to try and get onto Dinko, who's hiding over in lobby with a few players, still managing to survive, but they're losing a lot of players. Dinko holding on to this Uber, doesn't want to use it in this situation. They're going to lose two, though, and now they could try and push out. They're going to have to wait for the respawners. Necro and Pineapple up now. This could be an opportunity for them to get some space, but they have to worry about any potential backcappers.
Yeah, this is going to be just a lot of pressure coming in on them right here, as they know any backcaps will just end that match. And again, those land hopes are still alive. We can make them a little bit more careful than they would otherwise. But Quacks and Taz trying to come in and get some aggression, not going to find anything on the double stack, and that's just going to be the give up from GlobalClan backing up to mid. Dinko keeping this ad quite comfortably, and still, Taz caught a bad spawn wave. He's 8 seconds after Quack, so potential the mid's just going to go this way as well. They're not even going to get the Uber forced out.
Yep, not going to be able to get it there as Sor is thinking about Spy and is going to go for it. Now, this is a very interesting Spy time because it's not one that you'd necessarily assume if you are Mafia. Sure, things have stalemated out, but they're on the defensive. It's immediately here. They haven't really gotten any time to really get into positions, and you don't expect GlobalClan to really try and go for sack, but I think they might know. They might have spotted him as they are fiercely checking around. Dinko is playing up against the wall. If he did get bumped, that is bad luck for Sor, because I think they know on Mafia. That still doesn't mean that he can't get something. We've already seen him get once in the same exact position as a Pineapple almost shoots him down, but Quacks finds one onto Alexandros.
Yeah, just Sor getting really inconvenienced by the erratic movement of the players on Fjord, going to, though, make it into mid safely. They actually had a rocket from Pineapple as well, so they definitely know there's a spy lurking around here, but will they be able to react to it? Now, as Quack's coming in, forcing them to turn around, may or may not be helping out Sor. The Uber gets popped out towards Saw. Better pop for Dank. Is Deadly Seed going to be the first one going down? Dinko next. Taz coming in on him. No spy needed. Sor does get caught out, but ultimately it's going to be a fight win for GlobalClan. Now we're looking at a recap of mid. Sor in chat. This class is so hard.
Maybe he can get some lessons from Stabby or something like that. But he's already had some good success on it, so oh my god, Quacks with a huge air shot onto Alexandros. That was absolutely insane. Stopped me in my tracks from whatever I was talking about. But once again, Deadly Seed is up on Sniper, and he wants to make it a three-peat, getting the drop on to Dank, who is going to have, once again, round about 30-25% Uber advantage. GlobalClan have been not the best with these last pushes, so if you are Mafia, you shouldn't be feeling too worried. I mean, you got to be feeling a little bit worried. You're at your last. This could be the game, but they've shown that they can defend before, but losing Pineapple to start things off isn't a great way to do it.
The air shot on Dingo is going to stop all of his momentum, though, but Shamu coming in gets so much cap time, and they're just going to take it. Feels like a bit of a lapse in concentration from Fjord right there. So they just basically lose that immediately. The opening pick means a lot right there, but so much cap time coming in for free, and it's going to be GlobalClan taking the 4-1 here.
Yeah, GlobalClan gonna make it 4-1, and I don't want to say they have secured their playoff spot because anything can still happen, but they have made a very, very strong argument in case to prove that they should be in playoffs, and I think barring any super big upsets, they are looking really good to be that fourth team going in. So congratulations, or minor potential maybe congratulations to them for that. Of course, LAN is literally like just a week away, so a good time to get that locked and loaded if they're maybe thinking about tickets. But on the other side, for Fjord Gaming, they still had a really good, they had some really great moments, but the thing that really kind of bit them in the behind was just their mids. They didn't have good mids, they didn't have consistent mids, and they had really great defenses, but when you're constantly playing defense, you're just not putting yourself in position to win.
Exactly, yeah, and I mean, if you are a Fjord fan, their saving grace is that they still have 2 matches left versus Legacy. So should they, manage to really clutch up in those, that's where I think they can kind of make their way back in here. You have to imagine that Legacy is going to be the favored team in those, given how the season's turned out. But, you've got 2 matches against them in, it looks like they're scheduled on the same day? Question mark, which I'm not sure if that's actually going to turn out, but I mean, theoretically, if Legacy just happens to wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you're playing 2 matches against the same team, that's not very good risk hedging, I guess is what I'd say, on the side of Legacy, where if Fjord's able to pull those 2 games out, suddenly things get a lot spicier. I think moving forward, it's going to be the assumption that GlobalClan will be that 4th seed, making it to LAN.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. Just looking at the stats, the thing that stands out to me is Quacks, Dank, and Dinko. Quacks, 30 and 26, doing really great stuff as Soldier. 265 second damaging the server, which is pretty good. But the big thing for Quacks, 8 medic picks, absolutely insane. And you look at the medic deaths between Dank and Dinko. Dank only died 3 times in a 41-minute game, which is spectacular, even if it's a slow game, which, I mean, this was kind of a little bit. There were a lot of mid to last, second to last stalemates, but still 3 deaths, 41-minute game, really, really good. Dinko died 12 times, and a lot of that, I mean, 3/4 of that was Quacks. He was doing so much work, actually, and when your medic is dying, 4 times as much as the enemy medic, it's impossible to win the game. There's just no 2 ways about it.
Yeah, just really, really strong play out of Dank. I mean, we saw a lot of really good surfs, a lot of really good milks, a couple times where we thought he may have either gotten forced or was just going to drop to a sack and able to, keep that Uber up, which ends up being so meaningful when you're just able to kind of keep that pressure up always. It really minimizes the times where you're able to kind of bully out a team with that Uber out without being forced to use it. And we saw them do that, to the max there. I mean, I think you can say GlobalClan could have been a little cleaner in their last pushes. I think, maybe not as kind of killer instinct as you'd hope out of them. But the rest of their play, you can say it was good enough to give them so many opportunities, right? It's all about how many bites you take at the apple. And yeah, you saw a quick round coming out from Fjord in the beginning there, but after that, and a lot of that really happened after Taz imploding on the first mid in the backline and, giving them a 6v5 immediately. Afterwards, they kind of locked in, realized what they had to do on mid, and really no opportunities for Fjord, it felt like, to ever really actually get a point on the board.
Yeah, no, I would 100% agree. I think the few mids that they won after that were just kind of pure wins because they capped it up, but then Dank was still alive, so GlobalClan repushed immediately with Uber. But regardless, very, very good match, very fun back and forth. Lots of kind of cool hype moments, which, as viewers, is what we always kind of care about at the end of the day. As I think we are going to wrap things down, at least for tonight. Obviously, there's going to be more games tomorrow and Thursday because LAN is only a week away, and there's a whole lot of matches these teams gotta play because it's kind of a shortened season, very condensed, so there's going to be kind of a flurry of activity as we get ready for LAN, which, Alto, you're going to be there. I'm very excited to see you cast that, but I think that's going to be it for us tonight. Any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to you for being here. I think you're back from was it a band camp? Because had a couple of casts last week that I started out solo, which let Dolphin guilt other people into coming in later. But it was nice to not have to be alone in the booth for the first 15 minutes of this one. So very enjoyable this time.
Yeah, no, I saw some of that. I have to say shoutouts to you for absolutely holding that down. That was like that was some great stuff there. Obviously not ideal, but no, you kept it locked and loaded that whole time while you were solo casting. So shoutouts to you 100%. Like you said, shoutouts to Dolphin for doing a bunch of work wrangling casters and kind of getting people out of thin air to come in, and of course all the other work that he does. Shoutouts to the RGL merch. Buy it, wear it, show up to LAN with it. It's next weekend. That's right, it is almost upon us. It's crazy how quickly time flies, but the time for TF2 is here. It's happening next weekend, so definitely stay tuned for that. Obviously, if you can't make it, that's okay. We've got the stream, and you're going to have some amazing TF2 content on that. Otherwise, I think that's going to be it for us tonight. Check back in tomorrow for some more invite action, and Thursdays as well. But until then, hope you have a good night. We'll see you next time.